Attention, Amtrak passengers. Passengers holding tickets for train number 164, the Northwest Regional train, en route to Boston. Please be advised that this train is currently behind this.
Just got off at State Street, New Haven, walking about 20 minutes to get to the hotel. Very dreary day. Auditions tomorrow, hopefully it's sunny. Not that I'll be seeing the sun a lot. First time in New Haven. Made it. Oh. All right, here we are. Whew. Marriott at Yale. Ta-da. There's a complimentary hot cocoa bar. In front of the lobby. Okay, I'm gonna settle in. Then I'm gonna find some places to eat around here and explore the town a little bit. Alrighty, this is my Yale face. This is my Yale hair. This is my Yale outfit. Ta-da! Look at this fun little skirt that I found at Uniqlo. I'm probably gonna tuck this in. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but it looks better a little fitted, so probably something along those lines. I'll figure it out. So this is my last audition for grad schools in 2023. It's been a long and arduous journey. I'm kind of happy that it's over, but also I'm just really hoping that Yale goes well. We'll see. If I don't get in, it's fine. You know, I'll give it everything I have. If it's not what they're looking for, I can't change that. So I'm at the hotel. I have an hour to kill before I start heading over. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I really am like pumped to go. I'm ready. All right. See you on the other side. Okay, let's talk about Yale. I made it to not final callback weekend. I made it to the end of the day callbacks, which will make sense in a second if you don't already know what that is. And I'm currently in the process of waiting for an invitation to final callback weekend. So I was very fortunate to see what the whole day looks like because, you know, I didn't make it that far with NYU and Juilliard. So now I get to have like a worthy review of what the day was like. So here we go. I opted to go to New Haven a day early and stay overnight at a hotel. One helpful thing that Yale does is that when you register for your audition, they will send you a confirmation email that looks something like this. And it has a lot of information about what you can, like what, they give you a link to a visitor center that you can check out that I think gives you things you can do. The most helpful thing was that they gave us a list of hotels that are within walking distance of the school, and they give you like 7 options. Courtyard by Marriott, New Haven at Yale, the Study at Yale, the Blake Hotel. And so I just checked all of these out and, you know, just chose the cheapest one. And yeah, it was very, very convenient because like, true to the description, it was like 15, 20 minutes walking distance from the 149 building that we auditioned at. Oh, and also there's information about parking, which I didn't pay attention to because I wasn't driving anywhere. And okay, and then they also give you a layout, a breakdown of what the day is going to look like. Every audition day, they have 7 groups of 12 people. I will repeat that. So there's a 9 a.m. group that consists of 12 prospective students. There's a 10 a.m. group with 12, 11 a.m. group with 12. Then they have a lunch break. And then they have an afternoon audition session of 2 p.m. group, 3 p.m. group, 4 p.m. group, and 5 p.m. group. So that's 7 groups total. It says in the email that approximately 12 applicants are scheduled to audition each hour. I think for my group, it was a little bigger than that. It was like 15 to 16 students. It was also the last day of New Haven auditions when I went, so maybe that had something to do with it. Like everybody wants to audition later. I'll go through my personal day, and I think that'll give a lot of insight into what the process will look like generally for anybody. So it's very similar to NYU and Juilliard. You get there 30 minutes before your scheduled time. Everybody who's checking you in and monitoring and helping that day, just like NYU and Juilliard, they're all current Yale students. Maybe some alumni, but I think they were mostly current Yale students. So again, you get the opportunity to talk to them and really get like firsthand experience, accounts of, you know, what student life is like and what the program is like and all that. So that was very nice. I'm really happy that all the grad schools do that. The process was very organized, and it was a lot of people auditioning, but it didn't feel chaotic. It didn't feel, you know, like you're in a room with like 100 people you're competing against. It was nice to just like be broken up into chunks of 12. And yeah, it was like quite intimate. You know, you get to talking to people sitting next to you. Overall, very pleasant, very organized. I was not like waiting for that long like I was, for example, at Juilliard, where I was just like there for, I don't remember, 6 hours. So at around 10 a.m., I think a little past, they take us into a secondary waiting area that's not like the main like lobby that people check in at. Our like 1 hour group is broken up into 3 groups. So there's 3 faculty members who are seeing auditions that day. It's Tamala Woodard, for us anyways. It'll probably be different for the future. And Grace Zindarsky, who I think is the head of voice at Yale. And then Nicole Brewer, adjunct faculty. I actually don't know the difference between like adjunct faculty and like associate faculty or whatever the things are. But I think she was like a newer member to the faculty at Yale. I auditioned for Tamala Woodard. For Juilliard, I auditioned for Evan Yanulis, who's also like the head of acting. So it was like, oh, I had a moment of like, oh my God, I got cut second round at Juilliard. I really don't want to repeat history. Anyways, and I went in and it was Tamala Woodard, and also an alum, like who's not a faculty member, was sitting next to her. I had heard that in the past, when like before COVID, when in-person auditions were the only way to audition, alum would go into the audition room and I guess observe, because it's also a learning experience to, you know, sit on the other side of the table and see actors. I'm guessing that's why they did that. But yeah, so I had like known that alum might come in to watch, but it was kind of surprising to see that there was actually like alum there. So the first 2 monologues I did were Phoebe from As You Like It, and then Kenny from Edith Can Shoot Things and Hit Them, in that order. So I did my 2 pieces, and I think she immediately asked for a third, and I gave her options. I have Arena from Three Sisters, or I have more of a contemporary comedic, and she said, well, what are you excited to share? I said, I'll do Arena, and I did Arena. It honestly felt like a class more than audition. She said, let's do Arena again. Let's slow it down. And, you know, these things that you're saying, the lines that you're saying, you're realizing them and you're seeing them as they come to you. So I took that as, you know, I have like a particular rhythm I fall into. I've done this monologue so many times now that it's like, even I hear it while I'm doing it, it like falls into a rhythm, and So I think her direction was like, let's make it fresh again. Let's, like really see these things. And because Arena talks about like wide blue skies and great white birds and oh, what if I was a shepherd? What if I was a teacher? And I think she was telling me to really like delve into having these revelations as they come, right? And like really taking in the meaning of them instead of just saying the lines and going through the motion. That makes sense, right? So I did it again, and I think she was like, oh, okay. I felt really good about it. It felt fresh, and I also felt myself getting emotional at like parts that I had never thought would mean so much to Arena. So it felt good, it felt connected. And then she said, okay, let's try Phoebe again, and the same notes. And Phoebe was my original classical piece that I offered. So I did it again. Phoebe was like kind of not as connected as Arena, but again, I tried to like discover the things as I was saying them. So that was a very helpful note. And then I came out feeling pretty good, and I thought I could have done Phoebe a little better, but other than that, I really had no regrets. And then to my surprise, they posted the list of end of the hour callbacks, and they picked 2 people out of the like 15, 16 kids in my group, and I was one of the names. I was like, oh my God, I got emotional. I was like starting to tear up a little bit because, last year I got cut so fast, and I knew I was getting cut too because I came out of that audition feeling so shitty, and I was like, why didn't I fucking take my time? Like, why did I fucking pick these monologues? And this year was like a completely different experience. So it was a nice opportunity to like actually viscerally feel the difference and the growth that I had over the year. So I was getting emotional. And then I was kind of trying to comfort people who didn't make it. And I kept saying like, hey, it's my second year auditioning. Like if you feel really passionately about it, like audition again next year. I don't know if that helped anybody, but I felt really bad. It's so brutal. That process is so brutal. It requires so much courage to know that you're most likely not gonna get in and just do it anyways. I have so much respect for anybody that even applies to graduate school. So anyways, so that was that. And then for the end of the day callback, all the 3 faculty members who had been in their separate rooms come together. It's Tamala, Grace, and Nicole, and no alum this time. I went in, and Tamala Woodard, she said, hey, let's try Arena again with the notes that I had given you. And again, it felt like fresh and connected, and I was glad that she picked that one instead of Phoebe, because like Phoebe was feeling a little weaker. It was very lucky that she chose Arena. And my callback was so short. I was freaking out because, you see the students go in and out, and I felt like some of those people were in there for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and that's all she asked for. She saw Arena and she was like, thank you, Libby. That was it. So I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? So I was feeling a little nervous. And then we were in the waiting room with all of the morning auditioners that had made it to end of the day callbacks. I think there were 2 people in the 9 a.m. group that made it to end of the hour, and then 2 people in the 10 a.m. group, which is my group, that made it to end of the hour, and then 2 people in the 11 a.m. group that made it to end of the hour. So there were 6 of us in total out of, probably 40, 45 people that auditioned that day. There were 6 of us left. And then after everybody did their callbacks, they posted a list of people who made it to end of day callbacks. And out of the 6, 2 people got cut and 4 of us made it to end of the day callbacks. So it's brutal, y'all. 4 people out of 40 to 45. That's like 10, is it 10%? It's 10% of who auditioned that day. I made it to end of day, saw my name on the list. I like cried a little again. And then we were getting ready to do end of the day callbacks. And this was, again, for Tamala, Grace, and Nicole, who we did the end of the hour callbacks for. Before we did it, we went into the room all together, and Tamala Woodard said, congratulations. Always should be so proud of yourself to make it this far. We're not going to ask you to do your pieces again, but we might ask you to sing. and then we're just gonna ask a few questions and get to know you. And yeah, it was just very like congratulatory and like heartwarming, like, yeah, we did it. And then we, again, all four of us went out to the waiting room, just chit-chatting. Oh, where's everybody from? Like, what other schools are you auditioning for? What was that process like? Oh, I got intimidated too, because there were 2 kids in that 4-people group that had made it to end of day for Juilliard. And I think I was definitely the last one out of the 4 people to go in. True to their word, they asked us to sing a song, but it was very like, I really felt like there was no weight on the singing portion. It's not about like vocal performance. It's more to get to know you through that context and see like where your voice is at. I really don't think it would have mattered if I sang Happy Birthday and it was really horrible. The interview was probably my shakiest portion. The part of the day that I actually do have regrets about are the interview. So some of the questions she asked me were, I think I wrote this down and sent it to my acting coach, because I was like, hey, I made it to end of the day, and I don't know about my interview. Okay, so she asked, what is an artistic community? What are you looking to get out of grad school? What are your strengths as an actor? And I answered, one of my strengths is optimism. And she said, as a follow-up, she said, well, what do you do when that optimism falters? What are your dream roles? What other schools are you applying to? I answered NYU and Juilliard and this school, that school, this school, that school. And she asked specifically, where are you in the process for NYU and Juilliard? And I was like, I really want to lie about it, but I'll be honest. And I told them I made it to the second round and I got cut. And I was like, did that just ruin my chances? I should have lied. But no, I really don't think that's going to make a huge difference. And then, they also asked me, I forgot to add this, sorry, David. They also asked me if my parents were supportive of my career. If I could go back and do it again, I would just tell myself to follow the same process that I do for auditions. All I had to do was breathe and relax, and all these answers are in me. Like, I am capable of critical thinking and answering cohesively, and I just was so nervous, and of course was thinking what answer can I say to impress them, which is not the attitude you should have going into an audition at all. So I'm kind of freaking out because I feel like maybe they thought I was pretentious because I was making up all these vague and extravagant answers to and I said, I'm in final callbacks for Northwestern and FSU, and they asked, when do you hear back from them? And I said, February 13th is the earliest date they can give me an offer. And she said, as an aside to her colleagues, was like, oh, that's so late. But it's February 9th, Tamla. We have 4 days until February 13th, and I haven't heard anything back yet. Oh, also, okay, so this is also the thing that's driving me a little crazy is that Tamala Woodard explained that there are going to be 50 people chosen from the auditions, so 50 people who make it to end of day callbacks, but they only invite 32-ish to callback weekend. So they internally just make the cuts, and they invite twice the number of people that they actually admit. So I think they admit 16, which is why they invite 32. Oh yeah, I was also going to say, in the beginning, we didn't have a lot of time to talk with the current students, but of course, towards the end, because we're all waiting in the room together with the monitors, we finally got to talking to them, and oh my gosh, they were so positive about the grad school experience, which is always a sign of a good school to me. They were really positive about it. They were so friendly, and the people that I interacted with felt like adults. I think this is coming also straight from the Juilliard audition, and it was a bunch of BFA kids were monitors, and so I was talking to them and they were like, oh yeah, this is a college experience for us. I did the BFA thing. I did the drinking and partying. I don't need that anymore. I felt like I was kind of past that, and this group felt more closer to my age, first of all, and that we understand each other. We're on the same page. So yeah, it was overall a very good vibe. Then they told us a little bit about Callback Weekend. They said it's basically just like 3 classes. You're invited, they pay for accommodation and travel, and they put you up in a, like, she said a hotel-like establishment. So I think it's like not a hotel. Maybe it's like, I don't know, a dorm. I don't know. But they said everything's provided for, and then there's group A and group B. She said it's like approximately 30 minutes, 3 classes, and they're observing you and I think they're probably seeing like if you're like a pleasant human that they would like to spend their time in a pressure cooker with for 3 years. And she said, there were some people in my group that were like taking it way too seriously, and they were going so hard, like trying to impress. They were like doing the most. And she said, but no, you just gotta chill, you gotta have fun and just relax and show them who you are. She was like, yeah, and those people didn't make it. So like, I think you just need to have fun, which was like a good tip. But yeah, that was it. And everybody who said New Haven sucked, what were you talking about? Because I loved it. I remember last year at the Juilliard auditions, this Juilliard student was like, I went to New Haven and I knew that I didn't want to go here. I think because I also lived in New York for 5 years. Like if you're a high school student from, I don't know, some other state, and you're choosing where to go to college, like of course you want to go to New York. But as somebody who's lived in New York for the past 5 years, I was like, New Haven is really nice. It's so quiet. The roads are so spacious. The sidewalks are spacious. I also, take whatever I say with a grain of salt because I only explored Yale and like the surrounding little tiny area with the shops and the touristy parts. It was nice even just getting out of the city and exploring a new town for a little bit. So yes, that concludes my review of the day, and I will keep you posted. Okay, it is February 15th, Wednesday, 2023, and not a peep from Yale. This is my personal 9th circle of hell. I'm just waiting. Last year, I got an official rejection letter on February 14th of 2022. And I'd already known at this point that I was not getting in because I got cut the first round last year. There's no way of knowing for sure what's going on over yonder in New Haven, but I know official invitations to Callback Weekend have been going out. Okay, two things happened. I emailed my acting coach, David, and I asked him, hey, I'm going a little crazy. Would you just let me know if any of your other students got invites to Callback Weekend at Yale? He replied, he said, yes, he knows some people who got invited, but he also knows that invitations for this go out in waves. Like it's not like all on one day. And some people get news on later dates. So he said, I'm still staying positive for you, which I was really grateful for. It's very uplifting. And then the second thing that happened is that, so when I auditioned, 4 people, including myself, made it to end of day. One of the guys found me on Instagram. I was so thankful because I was looking for him too. And I couldn't find him because he didn't know his last name. But he found me. And he was like, hey, just want to say hi. And I replied, hey, did you get any news from Yale? And he didn't. He hadn't. And he was in contact with another girl that was one of the 4 end of day callback people. And he said that she didn't hear anything back either. But he had a friend who auditioned earlier in New Haven for Yale. And he knew that guy had gotten an official callback. So again, he like reaffirmed that audition callback weekend invitations had been going out. And nobody to our knowledge from our day has heard anything back. So we're just like really hoping that they're just working from the beginning and going to the end. Okay, so I got a lot of information from this kid because I call him kid, but he's, like probably 25. Because he auditioned for Yale last year and he made it to final callback weekend So he made it the farthest that he could possibly go, and then he got cut. Oh my God, I respect him so much for like putting himself through this torment 2 years in a row. But anyway, so he had a lot of like memories and like dates from last year that he remembered. He knows some people last year got an invite as late as February 17th, and February 19th, he got an email with all of the list of names of people who were invited to Callback Weekend. Like the final list of the 32 or so people that were invited to New Haven. I'm so glad he found me and he DM'd me, because like he's like my biggest support system right now. And oh my God, okay, so everyone listen up. I was like tortured because I had no way of knowing what was going on, and I couldn't for the life of me find any like MFA group on Facebook. I searched like Yale MFA callbacks 2023, MFA acting callbacks 2023, and I went to Callback Corner on Backstage and I searched up all the keywords, and nothing was hitting. Like I couldn't find any like group of people. There's a subreddit in r/acting, I don't know how to say it, r/acting, and there's like a discussion thread of everybody who is applying for MFAs. There were so many people who were like sharing information about what they got called back for, what they got offers for. So future people who are auditioning, like please utilize Reddit. That's where it's at apparently. Yeah, and I found this other girl who got accepted to FSU, and oh my gosh, I found out that USD is like super selective and secretive about their whole audition process. Like nobody has heard anything about USD. And there's also threads from previous years, which is like just cool and fun to read, but also good to figure out like, oh, they heard back by this date last year, or they got official offers in this month. But yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm unhealthily checking my emails and refreshing that Reddit page and messaging Carlos like too much probably. Anyways, blessed to be waiting. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. Love you. Trying to come to terms with the fact that maybe I didn't get into Yale, because it's Thursday now. I'm starting to think that I didn't get in, and that's okay. It's just very disappointing, and it really sucks that they won't let us know anything. Like, if you rejected us, like, just let us know. Just send us a fucking email saying that we're no longer in the running so I can move on. And yeah, now I'm like really thinking about alternative choices. I'm lucky to have FSU for sure and still be in the running for Northwestern. That's where I am. All right, last update for Yale 2023. Today is February 17th. Yesterday around 6:30 p.m., I think, I got my official rejection letter. Honestly, I did not take it as hard as I thought I was going to. I think if I had gotten the letter even like a day earlier, I might have cried and been sad about it. But I think I was preparing myself for the rejection yesterday. So it actually was not that bad. And it felt like, oh, okay, I kind of saw this coming. Shout out to my buddy Carlos, who kept in touch, and it was really nice having like a support system. And he also got his rejection letter. But it's really okay. I'm a little, I guess, like, I don't know what it is. I feel like disappointed or maybe even angry how they did that, like how Yale made us wait for so long. I feel like if I had gotten an invitation, you know, it would have been a relief, and all that like waiting and pain would have been worth it. But since like I got rejected, it's like they made me go through all that mental Olympics for nothing. Not even just grad school. I feel like auditioning in general always feels like a cattle call, and you feel very dispensable sometimes, you know? So yeah, I just wish that they had been more considerate about how much people were waiting. And I think a lot of people were in the same boat because like Reddit and the Hoover app and everywhere I checked, like nobody had answers and we were all just like, when are they gonna let us know? Anyways, I'm just being bitter now. It is what it is, and you know, to give them the benefit of the doubt, they were probably like crazy busy. That concludes my Yale journey for 2023. I don't think there's gonna be a Yale journey 2024. Like Carlos said, it's maybe a sign. I feel like the more I look at Northwestern, I really like their program. I like how short it is. It's fully funded. It's Chicago, which is like a central theater location. Whew, breath of fresh air now that it's over. And I did what I could, and I got a lot farther than last year, which counts for something. Gave my dog a bath. His little puff right here. Let go say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Oh, he's still a little damp. Yeah. It will be all right. Everything will be all right. All right. Peace out, y'all. Good luck to all you future auditioners. Bye. I mean, obviously, I'm a little sad. The lighting is like... This is like montage of girlfriend who died. I'll get over it.